speaking your own truth is the most important. So it's not that humans are disappearing, it's just that authenticity is disappearing.
Loneliness feels heavier at night or mostly in the quieter times.
The body processes the rejection as same as the physical pain. They are over-connected digitally and under-connected emotionally. Wound is loneliness, and it's not there to punish you, but it's there to actually awaken something inside of you.
Hello and welcome to our very first episode of Unapologetically Real with Neha Bhatia, where we talk about things that nobody ever really speaks about, but everyone feels it. I'm Dr. Binny, and I'm going to be your host. And today I have the honor of introducing the woman who inspired this show, someone whose presence, work, and voice have transformed countless lives. Neha Bhatia has been anchoring and hosting stages for over 15 years and has led more than 700 events, from high-level corporate conferences, product launches, and large-scale gatherings, to meaningful community events in partnership with NGOs. She has also spent 10 years volunteering and teaching with the art of living, touching lives through meditation, awareness practices, and ancient wisdom. She is a trained yoga teacher, an NLP trainer, a communication specialist, and currently also the author of a powerful book, Frequency Matters, 21 Days to Raise Your Vibration. She uses her work to help people understand themselves deeply, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and even professionally. Thousands of individuals have worked with her to transform challenges like stress, anxiety, depression, relationship struggles, emotional numbness, money blocks, career confusion, and she helps them to step into alignment, clarity, and confidence. Neha is on a mission to transform and inspire 10 million people by 2030 through her workshops, coaching programs, memberships, content, and now this podcast. Her purpose is simple but profound. She wants to help people break their inner blocks, awaken their emotional intelligence, and step into the identity of a visionary, not someone who survives life, but someone who designs it. And today, we begin this journey with a topic that so many silently live with, yet rarely know how to talk about: loneliness. Not just the loneliness of being physically alone, but the loneliness of not being understood, feeling supported, feeling unseen, maybe, despite being surrounded by people you love. So stay with us, because this episode may not just answer questions, it may help you understand yourself in a way that you have never before. Hi Neha, how are you feeling? Now, don't tell me as an expert or a coach, but tell me as a regular human being, how are you feeling today?
Well, I'm feeling really amazing. If I just look at my life, everything is so beautiful. I feel very relaxed. I feel very much connected to myself. And I feel the most that I feel throughout the day is gratitude. I'm feeling very grateful in life.
So Neha, today's topic is loneliness. And I'd like to know what you think about loneliness. And before we get into the depth of that, tell me more about what we're trying to understand here about loneliness.
See, Binny, I feel that loneliness is a very subjective term, and everybody feels it in their own way, what they are experiencing. Somebody might just say that I have everybody, but I still don't have anybody to talk to. Or I have a lot of people I talk to, but nobody understands me. Or let's say I have clients sometimes and they have had a fight with their partner and all of a sudden they start to feel lonely. So it's basically their trigger as well. Sometimes people stay alone at home. They do everything by themselves. They can feel lonely as well. So there's a very beautiful quote that I've heard and I really like it. The wound is the place where the light enters, right? And that wound is loneliness, and it's not there to punish you, but it's there to actually awaken something inside of you. So I would say loneliness is the start to something very beautiful, but we hold on to it so much that we're not able to realize that it's not painful. It's a start to something very beautiful, and we have to explore the depth of it to understand ourselves better. Because a lot of times we feel very disconnected, with ourselves, with other people when we are talking. So loneliness comes to help us understand or address to that disconnection.
So you talk about disconnection, but we are so connected in today's world. I mean, we've got social media, we've got video calls, we've got messaging, we've got people around us, in and around us, the amounts of socializing that we do. How are people, despite all this, feeling so disconnected? I mean, despite all this connection?
See, you said it very right that now we have social media and we can see people, but I would say we are over-connected digitally and under-connected emotionally. We may have a lot of people who we are looking at, but it's just digital. Where is the physical presence? And in fact, research says that today, Gen Zs and millennials, they are the most loneliest generation that we have ever had. So how can we say today that we are not lonely? And also, if you see the world, if you really explore more and more, and people can't be vulnerable. They're afraid of vulnerability. They can't show their truth on social media. They will scroll, but they will not sit with their feelings. They will like the photos, but they will post pictures, but they will not post their truths. Right? So, where is the truth? Where is that truth hiding? It's somewhere deep inside you, and it just comes in moments, in that silence, which people are avoiding. So it's not that humans are disappearing, it's just that authenticity is disappearing. A lot of us are not authentic anymore. That's why I'm creating this podcast. Being unapologetically real of who you are, what's your truth. Say that. And not to social media, to our own selves. At least start from there. And when you do that, I think that loneliness will start to go away little by little. It will not go away completely immediately. But I think truth, speaking your own truth, is the most important.
So somewhere I feel like what you're trying to say is finding your essence.
Finding your essence.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
I think we all have different essences, right?
100%.
And if you can find yours, then you have your own little essence.
Absolutely. And like I said, it's going to be different for everybody. It's not going to be the same,
Yeah. When does this loneliness begin? I mean, you're talking about how we are lonely, or Gen Z is lonely, and Gen Z is just coming into their 20s yet. So when does it really begin? When does loneliness begin? And is it in adulthood, or do your childhood experiences lead you to a place in your adult life or early adult life as you're getting out of childhood? Do they shape it? Do they shape how you feel lonely later on in life?
Yes, Vinny, you're absolutely right. It does begin in childhood, but it is more visible in adulthood. So, for example, when a child is in his, school or, 5th, 6th standard, let's suppose, he has not got these parents who are emotionally available. Or let's suppose they are asked to not show their emotions. So now emotions have all of a sudden started to become shameful for them. Right? So when that happens, all of a sudden this little child starts to feel, do I really matter? I'll give you my example. I've shared this with only a few of my clients, and when I was preparing for this topic, and I wanted to think a few things about my past as well. It took me back in the times when I was in 6th standard. I think 6th or 5th standard. And that was the first time when I felt loneliness. Because I was in the hostel. So I'm going to tell you the real story. Yeah? I was in the hostel, and when I used to be sitting, let's say in the rooms, right, or in the dormitory, I would say, and there used to be a call. There's a call from the lady who is managing everything. And she's like, there's a call, and I used to feel, oh my God, it would be probably my father, my mother, and it hardly used to be like that. It used to be somebody else. So I'm not saying my parents didn't love me. They did, but they were also very old. We had a huge gap. So I used to feel, do they really love me? They've just thrown me in the hostel, I used to feel something like that. And I realized it when I was in 6th standard during the calls, and also my brother was also there in the hostel, but I was hardly asked how am I feeling. So I think mine started what I can think of when I was in 6th standard. And if I have to also tell the audience, sometimes it can also result in suicide. So, of course, I can't really show it completely, but if you see, there are these two marks over here. I was in 6th standard when I felt that, and I was neglected. I did not have friends. I was always asked to shut down. So I took a compass, and I just kind of tried killing myself. I mean, now I can laugh on it, but back in the days, it was just neglection, pure neglection, and I was like, there's nobody in this world for me. And then when I grew up and I realized that I worked on myself, now of course I don't feel any of it, but you will see some stages, and it usually will start with your childhood. But I also feel that a lot is contributed by the parents. So parents needs to be really mindful of what they're giving to their children when they are small, and also what's the kind of environment they have when they are in school. Because there's so much of a competition. We are asked to perform. We are asked to be perfect, But a child just wants one person in their life who is not there to fix everything, who is not there. He's just present. It could be the father, it could be the mother, it could be a friend. And when he doesn't get that, when he or she doesn't get that somebody is there just present. So then that loneliness starts just right then and there. And because if you see kids, right, when they are say around 1 or 2 years old, they are so much in present. And they say that a child who is around 2 to 3 years old, they smile around 350 times a day. An adult in his 20s or 30s smiles around 20 times a day. And a person who is in his 60s looks at a young person or a child and say, why are you laughing? What's there to smile? So because they are so much in present that they can smile more, they can just be themselves more. So when you're more of yourself, then where is the loneliness?
Thank you so much, Neha, for sharing such a personal story with me and the audience. Now, I also want to understand, a lot of people think loneliness and being alone are the same thing. But do you see a difference in this?
Definitely there is. I mean, loneliness is more of absence of something. Being alone is presence of myself. It could be presence of somebody else as well. It could be presence of I'm sitting with my own thoughts. I'm alone and I'm sitting with my own thoughts and I'm happy and peaceful about it. But in loneliness, you will not feel peaceful. You may feel anxiousness. You may feel depression. You may feel, let's say you will check your phone again and again. Oh, this person was supposed to message. The message hasn't come yet. So these are all signs. I mean, loneliness is a starting point, but then it does result in anxiety and depression. So in simple words, I would say loneliness is absence of something. When you're feeling that there's something missing, you must have heard of this FOMO, fear of missing out,
Yeah.
And with time you learn, when you start to be more alone, then you have this JOMO, joy of missing out.
Joy of missing out, yes.
It's okay. नहीं है, कोई बात नहीं. I'm happy with what I have. जितना है ठीक है, it's pretty good. Also, I want to add, a lot of people sometimes say, I'm getting bored, for example. So I learned this 20 years ago from my teachers, and I've practiced this a lot, that if I'm bored in my own company, what a bore I'm going to be for the other company as well.
I have heard that too.
And then people confuse boredom with loneliness. So definitely loneliness is totally different. Sometimes you all get bored, sometimes something is not very entertaining. We go to a place and we're like, okay, it's not really entertaining. It can be boredom. So there are two different things. But when you start to embrace your boredom as well, you've kind of taken care of some parts of your loneliness as well.
Neha, as I'm listening to you, it's becoming more and more clear to me that we don't see loneliness as just one emotion, and this evolves through life. We confuse boredom with loneliness. We confuse being alone with loneliness. Do you think there are stages to loneliness? And if there are, can you let me and the audience know?
Yes, you actually got it right here. We have stages of loneliness. And these stages are so important in life. If somebody understands that through this video and through this podcast, something is going to shift today for them. I can promise you that. First stage is this subtle disconnection that they feel. They start to feel a little irritated about something. They feel a little numb. Or when they start to ignore situations or things, that's the first stage actually. Okay. And the internal thought is that I'm fine. Everything is fine. Yeah, everything is fine. A lot of people say that. Yeah, I'm fine. And this is where the suppression also starts. This is the first stage. The second stage in loneliness is the social loneliness, wherein a person feels disconnected from other people, but also they're in a crowd. They may be around so many people and there's still this sort of restlessness in them. And there's only one internal thought that's going on in their mind is that I just want that one person who gets me. So there's a lot of crowd, but they still don't feel connected to anybody. That's a social loneliness. And Binny, I'm sure that you also must have noticed that sometimes there are people, and probably you can guess it, you're a yoga trainer, you may be able to observe that sometimes people are smiling from outside, but they're not happy inside. And I think we can see it, right? And you can call it their aura or whatever you want to call it, but it's actually the loneliness. And in the second stage, they also start to feel that these surface level conversations are just not for them. I have experienced that many, many years ago of this surface level. That's when they start to look for the deep conversations. And it is also very deep. So when in the second stage, you are not very happy with the surface level conversation. You are kind of looking for a meaningful conversation, but in the third one, you are really craving for it. Because now you have people who you feel love you, but they don't see the real you. So if you notice, we are moving more towards authenticity now. But the third one is really painful for people. This is where people start to feel very confused within themselves. This is the point when they actually need to sit with themselves. And sometimes when they don't, that's the time when it starts to show up on the body. And the fourth stage of loneliness is beautiful. It's called identity loneliness. Interesting. When somebody starts to feel that definitely they want deeper connections, but now they want to know themselves. When they start to question, who am I? What am I doing here? Right? What do I really want from myself? So this is more of a rebirth kind of a phase that a person experiences. And if they have crossed the other stages as well, gracefully and beautifully, and taken care of the old wounds or healed the old wounds as well. So this is where when people start to feel that, who am I then? This is where actually that question starts.
So does this happen when you're done fulfilling all the roles and responsibilities and checklists that your society and parents have given to you?
See, now that can happen even at the age of 70, and that can happen for somebody even at the age of 25. You can still figure out who you are and still fulfill the responsibilities. This is a very good question that you asked about it, because this is something people would ask. Because, okay, so does that mean, okay, I should not do the job? Does this mean that I'm done with my... No. Do all those responsibilities. But now know that is only a role that you're playing. Let's say I'm a trainer, I'm an anchor. You are a yoga trainer, you are an anchor here, right? He's a photographer. So these are the roles that we are playing, right? One role, second role, third role. But when we are not playing any roles, that is the moment, if we are feeling restless, that's the time you're experiencing identity loneliness. Because that's the time you need to know, okay, who am I now? If I'm not this, I'm not a mother, I'm not a father, then who am I?
Yeah, I totally get what you mean.
And that takes me to the next stage of loneliness, or the next phase I would say is the existential loneliness. When people start to question that, why do I actually exist? What is the meaning of my life? And believe you me, Vinny, people have come to me with this loneliness. They're like, what is the point of all this? And I have been there as well. Okay, I've earned money, I've had my fame, I've failed, whatever it is, but even if I become the best anchor, the best trainer, what's the point of all that? So that kind of a loneliness is very important to understand that one needs to address it in the very right way. Otherwise, people can get into wrong habits and, what's the point of all this? When this question is coming, so what is the point of my existence? That's a time when they move towards their purpose, life purpose, understanding the life direction. And it's also a very beautiful transitioning point of life as well. Then maybe now there's a calling. So for example, I wanted to do a particular job. I did a job. Oh, I really wanted to do that because it gave me money, it gave me fame, whatever it is. But now when you're in the existential loneliness, now you can think bigger. Now your mind is becoming bigger. But in that bigger mindset, sometimes people end up going more deeper into depression as well. So this is very important that when they ask this question to themselves that what is the meaning of my life? What is the purpose of my life? So sometimes it will not come just sitting at home. Sometimes you'll have to take some therapy, coaching sessions, and sometimes you really have to dive in. So as I said in the beginning also, that's the question that who am I?
Yeah.
And then the question in this existential one comes in, what am I here for?
Yeah. But I see a lot of people do not seek help at that point and tend to ignore it and probably just go back to whatever they were doing as long as they can. So is there like a point where they would seek counsel at any point in their life during this stage?
Yeah, that's a very good question actually, because then it becomes painful for the soul. Because this stage is about the soul level. Other stages can be on the physical level,
Yeah.
Oh, this person says bad to me, I'm hurt, right? You're still feeling at the soul level, but there are associations with it. This job has not given me fulfillment. Associations with it. But here there is no association with anything. Now the association is within.
Right. So more urgency.
More urgency, yes. And now thankfully, because of social media, there are a lot of people talking about this kind of knowledge, wisdom. I got introduced to this around 20 years ago when I had some breakthroughs. Maybe we'll talk about that in the next couple of videos. But the thing is, when this question is coming, which means that, okay, now your journey has started. So don't go back now. If you go back now, then you're actually doing a disservice to your soul.
Yeah.
Right? So this is one of the stages, and then the next stage is about the acceptance. Very, very important stage, and that can come if you have found your purpose, and that cannot come also. It is okay, because sometimes people can take days and years and years, and I'm not talking about a purpose where I'm just thinking, oh, I want to build an organization and we are going to serve to people. I'm not just talking about a purpose related to your career. I'm talking about this is what I'm going to live for. And I'm going to live for this. This is what I'm here for.
Yeah.
And trust me, this can also be kind of, you can kind of get lost once in a while. So if you have a mentor, then you will not get lost as much. Then it's like kind of finding your vision, So I'm going back and forth actually over here because these are so connected.
Yeah.
But when you have this purpose, or even if you don't have it, then when you go to the next stage, which is more of acceptance stage, which people say just normally, I accept this is the reality. At this age you feel this. How can you just accept it? You have to go through, we think that this whole world is like layer after layer after layer. But trust me, this world is definitely infinite, no doubt about it. But this world within you is also very infinite. But when you just accept that with calmness, with the neutralness, and then you're like, okay, I have arrived.
So acceptance, when you say acceptance, what are we accepting? Are we accepting ourselves as every positive and negative emotion and feeling that we have? Or are we accepting ourselves in society? Or what is acceptance in this topic?
That's such a beautiful question, Billy, and I think acceptance is something that I can talk about for hours and hours, which people just say in one line, just accept people and situation as they are. Yeah. But you're very right here that it is accepting, first of all, this current situation that I'm in, of what I'm feeling, and what you very rightly said, the parts. Yeah. So what we can do is maybe in the future videos, we can talk about the parts that we have. So I'll just tell you briefly, it is about accepting who we are as a whole. I'm an irritating person. I accept myself. Okay, this is me. This is also a part of me. I'm a happy person. This is me. I'm a tensed person. This is me. I'm an angry person. This is also me. And this is where actually the journey then kind of starts and blossoms as well.
Yeah. Okay.
So
acceptance, I think, then you are trying to say, is removing all the layers and masks and then just seeing yourself for who you are.
Absolutely. But I think, but I also feel that even if I see, we still keep going deeper and deeper.
Yeah.
There is no limit to that, who we truly are. It is a journey that we have started, right? So this is the sixth stage of the phase, and then the last stage is very beautiful. And this is something, again, I learned it in the very beginning, but this is usually not the last stage, but this is where your spiritual journey starts, and this is the stage of connectedness. Because if you notice, the first one was disconnected, when we feel a subtle disconnection. And this is the connectedness. Now we are feeling more connected with ourselves. Now we are feeling, okay, whatever I have, let's say if I have 1 lakh in my bank account, if I have 10 lakh, if I have even, it's a little bit money in my, okay, this is here. So this happens with the acceptance, but this is also, whatever it is with me, it is all a part of my creation. I have created this with my own karmas, and I have belongingness. So what happens with the seventh stage, it's a little bit deeper, to be very honest with you. When people come in my trainings, we talk about it, and there's a beautiful mantra that I always talk about. It's one of my favorites. It's called Aham Brahmasmi.
Yes.
Which means that it's like the whole universe is me and I am the whole universe.
Yeah.
This whole universe resides in me. Then how can I say that I am alone? That's where the connection starts. And trust me, I have been there. I have been there when I used to feel lonely. When I lost my parents, or when I had challenges in my business. Now I've healed all those parts in me. Now this is what it is. And this is where people need to start that, okay, that now I love myself. I am connected to myself. And I'm not alone at all in this world. You put me in a Registan, I'm not alone. You put me in a jungle, I'm not alone, because now I have the bloody power to just connect with anybody energetically. Now I am the Brahman. Now it can be too much for my audience, our audience, so please don't get confused. There is a way to do it, to connect with people energetically, and also, like we've talked about that in the book as well. And, when you connect on that level, now your life is going to be very like a flow. Then it is not a struggle. It may feel struggle because you're still carrying the past patterns, but this is how it is.
I agree. So if I may, I have a question here. Now, you've spoken about 7 stages roughly. Do people, or just for our audience sake, do people ever find themselves in, say, suddenly stage 5 without even experiencing stage 1 to 5 or 6? Or do they have to go through all of these stages in the same order that you've explained?
That's a very good question. I'm glad that you asked this question. No, you don't have to be in order. I mean, somebody can just all of a sudden feel that, okay, what's the purpose of my life? But then, yes, that person has to go through the healing of the past wounds, if there is any. Because even if I'm trying to find a purpose, if I'm trying to look forward, maybe my past will not let me. But here's the thing, a lot of people keep getting in the circles of 2, 3 and the 4th stage. Most of their life or all their life. In fact, a lot of people don't even get to the stage of 6th or 7th or even 5th. And for that, people need a coach or people need a guru in their life.
So I've noticed a lot of people, even from my classes and my patients, I feel like a lot of people stay stuck in loneliness despite wanting closeness or affection. And what are the behaviors or habits that people are holding on to that are keeping them stuck like this?
Yes, I think it's very important that we understand what habits they are into that is actually exaggerating loneliness. One is, of course, the distractions, right? Distraction could be anything. It could be alcohol. It could be substance. It could be going out for parties, right?
Yeah.
Another one is the beliefs that people have this belief. No. They don't understand me. I don't even need to talk to them. So they have these underlying beliefs because of which it doesn't even let them be more open, right? Then the next one is very, very important, this fear of rejection.
Yeah.
Right? And in fact, there was a study done in University of California, which said that the fear of rejection that people experience, and a lot of people experience on this planet. I mean, I have experienced, you have experienced, right? The body process the rejection as same as the physical pain. And now when somebody is experiencing that, then why would I want to go and open up and talk about myself or make friends? And I'm just gonna be, chal raha hai kaam na. Let's be on the surface level only. So these are the habits. The more we can talk about that in the following videos, but these are some of the habits that people, experience. And maybe we can ask the audience as well that what do they think? What are they doing to avoid the loneliness, and it's still not helping them?
Yeah. Many people say loneliness feels heavier at night or mostly in the quieter times. What part of loneliness do you think people avoid, and what is the hardest part?
Yeah, actually, you're right about it. In fact, many of my clients have mentioned this, that at night they have a lot of thoughts. Or how you said that people can't sleep at night. It's because in the daytime there's a lot of distractions, right? There's a lot of work we're doing, we're talking to people. And just energetically also there is a lot of movement happening. And now at night, it's all still. And now all of a sudden the thoughts are coming. Hello, knock knock. This needs to be addressed. But then what we do is, we take medicines to sleep. We suppress it, right? Yeah. So you're asking that why is it at the night? It's because at night it is more quiet. That's why a lot of people who go for clubbing, why they want to go for clubbing? This is why, because they hear that loud music and now their thoughts can just settle, and now they've had the drinks and now when they go to bed they can just crash. So ultimately what is important is that I tell all my clients, and something I started my journey as well, is with silence. Apne saath baithna seekho. Start to sit with yourself. And I know that if there are a lot of thoughts, then probably it will be difficult for them, because then it will turn into anxiety, because they don't know the method. They've never, and even though I'm a coach, I have trained thousands of people. Still, I mean, even I may feel it once in a while. I need a proper modality or a method to kind of deal with it or address to it. So for that, you go for a therapy, you go to a coach, Now, if you do it with a medicine, or if you do anything to just suppress it, then it is going to scream even louder the next night. Then you're going to be frustrated one day that, okay, why is it not working? So that's the only thing. I think silence and stillness and sitting with yourself, being with yourself is the most important. And once again, I would say, in this book I have mentioned about that. There's a chapter called The Vibration of Silence. I urge you all, especially the ones who have read this book already, read that chapter. I've explained how you can be in silence just for one day at least, So I think that's something important that people need to understand.
Thank you so much, Neha, for such an informative session. I think we have learned a lot about 7 stages of loneliness. I mean, something that I didn't even know existed. And the fact that we can enter into it from anywhere, and somewhere it feels like all the start of spirituality for me. Now, say in our audience, if someone's sitting back and feeling really lonely and finding themselves in tears, what do you think, what's the first step that you would suggest for anyone who's feeling really unseen to begin with?
Yeah. That's a very valid point you mentioned about being unseen or unheard or misunderstood, right? And at that time, if somebody is going to sit in silence, the thoughts are going to be very loud. It's going to be even more louder. So I would say one thing which I also started this podcast with, if you can, do this. For next 7 days, in the morning, just for the first 10 minutes, the moment you wake up, start to be grateful. And not be grateful just in terms of your job or money. Start to be grateful for small little things. close your eyes and just say to yourself, maybe if you want it, let's do it together. Be grateful for that I have a glass. Be grateful that I can drink, I'm drinking water. Be grateful that I can drink water. Be grateful that I have a system that can absorb the water. Be grateful that I have a lovely host here. Be grateful that I have clothes to wear. Be grateful that I have a phone. Be grateful that I have a photographer. When you actually look at it, you will be able to see everything, that there is so much to be grateful for, and I really urge you to be grateful for 5 to 10 things every single day for next 7 days. And if you can, take it up to 90 days. In the morning, the moment you wake up, because the moment we wake up, our subconscious for the first 20 minutes is very active. So what we put in the mind at that time, it follows us throughout the day, and that's the time when we see all the miracles and all the things happening, because the first 20 minutes we have kind of taken the control on. Okay, now I'm being grateful. So when I'm saying that I'm grateful for this is what is going to increase in my life. So the universe does only one thing. It doesn't say no to you. It just says one word, and that is Tathastu. Tathastu, Tathastu. You say, oh my God, I feel lonely. Universe says Tathastu. It gives you more opportunities of loneliness. You say, I'm grateful. Even if it's something past, because the body, the system doesn't understand what is reality and what's not. It will take in. Right? So just be grateful for next 90 days for 5 to 10 things. And even if you are going through a lot of loneliness, if you're going through a lot of challenges, then do it twice a day, even when you're going to bed. But during the entire day, your negative thoughts are going to come if you've been living in deep old patterns. So it's okay, let it come, but make sure that in the morning and in the night, just practice gratitude. I guarantee you, in 90 days, your life is going to change. If not 100%, at least 30-40%, you're going to see it changing. You're going to have opportunities, you're going to have people, you're going to have ideas. Something is going to change, You're going to see some benefits. Other things that people can do, I think, is, if you want, you can always book a call with me. We call it as an alignment call. That's a 45-minute session with me. It's a beautiful, mind-blowing session that we do. It's a first call with me. It's not a consultation call, it's an alignment call. You will be all over, but when you come in that call, you go back aligned. So when you just understand where you are, where you want to go, and what is your challenge, or what's the block that you're experiencing in your life, you start to understand in that particular alignment call. And in that alignment call, I also give you, as a bonus, we also give a complete 3 months of pathway on a paper. We tell you this is if you start to do, you can see these kind of changes. But in most of the cases, they would need to have a mentor for that. You can always have me as a mentor, but otherwise you can practice that pathway by your own self, and your life can actually transform if you do it in the right way. So alignment call is something that I can also recommend. But, first, practice gratitude.
And this is just the beginning. In our next episode with Unapologetically Real with Neha Bhatia, she will be covering much, much more. More about patterns, more about truths, more about emotional blind spots that we hold. And this is what holds us back from connection, love, confidence, everything that we really need to live our life fully. So stay connected, subscribe, share this with someone who may need it, and like it. Just for us. And for yourself. Because real transformation doesn't happen in just one go, right? It takes a whole journey. So stay real, stay unapologetically real.